How you guys doing? This is Derek, and I'm still thinking about the title of this video, but it's basically about how we can rise above the normal reactions that we're being taught to have when negative things happen in our life. The mindsets of society. Do we really want to be average in life? You read any of the best philosophical books on Amazon. You listen to any of the messages from, for example, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Edgar Tolle, any of the philosophers that talk about the power of now, that talk about the law of attraction, that talk about positivity. Do you want to be average? That's the question. I certainly don't. And what's kind of scary is that in the West, because I'm from America, I'm not living in America right now, but the idea of average is redefining itself all the time so that it's always kind of on a decline. Because the less average we get, let me restate that. The less than average, the lower our average becomes, our standard of average, the more we are easy to control, the less power we have, the less independence and freedom we have, the less mobility we have. So let me talk about something funny first. I was watching this movie, I think it's called The Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt. And in the beginning of the movie, he finds out that he doesn't get this job that he wanted. And he freaks out and yells and he's all depressed for the rest of the day. And I was thinking ever since I took control of my own self-development, because we're all developing, we're all learning, whether we like it or not, whether we think it's cool to be into self-development or not, whether we have a negative association with that, we're still developing, but we're either taking control of it or we're letting what we learn, what we input from society kind of control us, control our development. So ever since I started taking control of my development and seeking what is the best mindset that works, right? You could argue that the positive mindset works. And so when I would not get a job that I wanted, maybe when I was early 20s, before I started getting into self-development, before I took control of it, I would react maybe as Chris Pratt did. But now it's if something like that happens, I just tell myself okay, well, maybe there's something better coming. Maybe I dodged a bullet. Maybe it's an opportunity for me to grow, to not be too attached to an outcome about blah, blah, blah. There's so much benefit from thinking in the positive way. And again, referring to the top, thinkers and stuff, they say that there is no negative experience. It's all about how we choose to perceive it. Me and a friend could go camping in the woods or something and have the exact same experience, but we're both going to tell it differently. Depending on who we are, depending on our lens, it's going to be told in a positive or negative light. So we're constantly exposed to movies and media and news. Don't even get me started on news. Don't even think about news. News is the worst, I would say, on both sides, no matter what it is. But basically, let's talk about movies. They are catering to an average audience, and they want to relate to them, the producers, the script writers, and so they want to get the most profit. So they want to appeal to the biggest audience. They don't want the movie to be too smart or too hard to figure out. They don't want it to seem too unrelatable. And so they have to make all these characters who are flawed in ways that are pretty obvious, but I would say they're flawed in ways that they don't need to be flawed. I would argue that Chris Pratt getting all freaked out that he didn't get that job is not really how a strong man should act, So let's talk about, and I think that always getting back to the body is the most important thing. How you feel in your body. If you get really overweight, you're gonna feel bad, you're gonna feel tired. You can't avoid that. So you cannot argue that being overweight or being obese is perfectly fine, because you cannot argue if you have diseases, you cannot argue that you're healthy, if you're like gonna die early. So it's pretty clear that when you're like really fat and you can't move, you feel down, you can't argue that that's healthy or that that's the way that things should be. But in fact, in America, the obesity rate, man, I thought like it was 60%, but I just heard it's like 70% of people are either obese or overweight. And when I go back to America sometimes and I see like a medium-sized t-shirt, it's like medium. Their definition of medium is like, gotta leave room for the belly here. Gotta have extra material. And I feel like I'm wearing a skirt or like something that's down here because I don't have that like belly to like pull the material up or something. And then when I'm abroad and I see a medium, I'm like, okay, this is like for average, medium build. Okay, this fits me. So it's like in America, man, I don't even know now. I'm probably like a small, maybe a medium, but here I'm a large. I'm in Thailand. But man, if we got to open up our eyes and see that the idea of an average way of thinking or an average body size and everything is not on an incline, it's on a decline. And it has been for decades. So do you really want to adapt the mentality that a lot of the characters, for example, that you see in movies and TV, and do you want to adapt that mentality that they have when it doesn't work? Like, it's not exactly a positive and calm and peaceful mentality that we see throughout our lives growing up. And so I found that, yeah, we have to limit our exposure to so many of the things like TV shows, movies, anything that's just teaching us this way of thinking, this system of values. So I could go on and on about how the exposure to media, to TV shows and movies, how it affects us in so many ways. But I just want to focus on this topic today of, I want to focus on your own self-development. Because some people say they don't study self-development because blah, 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 I don't know, they don't need to, or they say they don't need to. But the fact is that we're always developing. That's why, that's what came about, the old wise men. That's what we think, like the men that are old are wise. And so the young people are seen as not being as wise, right? They haven't had life experiences. But as we go throughout life, there's like two paths we can take. We can be passive about our own self-development and basically let society teach us whatever we want to learn. Or even if we don't want to learn, it's just going to be things coming into us from different directions, usually not motivated by our own good, usually not proven to work, but something that grabs our attention. And maybe it's motivated by money or something. You're going to learn different things that come into your mind, and they'll probably not be helpful. They may or may not be helpful, but we can see in America, the average person's obese, the divorce rate's very high, the unhappiness rate is very high. So we can go through that, or we can actually take control of our self-development. We can take control of what information we're going to allow into our lives. And basically, taking control is the only step that you need to take, because you'll never be perfect. There's a good analogy about how, I think it's Michelangelo, he's carving the sculpture of David, right? And I don't think he actually said this, but somebody asked him, like, how did you carve such a perfect statue out of that stone? And then he said, like, the statue was always there. I just chipped away the stone that was not needed. And yeah, the idea is that we're getting away all of the crap. Think of it as a bunch of stone that's covering your real self, your true form that should be like shining in the world. You're getting rid of that. You're getting rid of all this crap that society taught you. You're getting rid of all these filters in order to basically go back to how you were when you were a child. Because when we were children, we were curious, we dreamed big, we were confident, we didn't have all these filters of hatred. we naturally exercised because it was fun. Like we were inspired to move our bodies around without worrying about getting sweaty or worrying about this or that. We followed what we wanted to do. We had fun with, like, your parents give you a present, but you're like obsessed with the cardboard box that they give you. We're not told like, okay, this can bring us fun, this cannot. So I'm not going to play with this because because that would be weird, or like, yeah, anyway. So getting back to your inner child and discovering that a lot of the crap that we learn throughout our society is not doing us good. You could go down the road of, conspiracy theories. Maybe it's all meant to be there because it'll take away our power. I kind of believe that in a way, but it doesn't matter because I just know that limiting exposure to negative ways of thinking and living, not being afraid to be above average, highly above average as much as I can, because I'm not afraid to do that because I naturally meet people who are on my same wavelength. Basically, the less that I try, the less that I try to get good things into my life, and the more that I just believe that they're already there, the more that they come. And one more thing is that when you believe into society's lies, it's like society teaches us in the Disney movies that, and this is so important, the Disney movies make us believe that we're supposed to, it's normal to be unhappy until we find our perfect Prince Charming or our perfect princess, and then get married, and then we're happily ever after. Any relationship experts will tell you, at least the good ones will tell you, that this is not the way to go. We're supposed to become our best selves. We're supposed to become happy as we are and have our fullness of our life right now. And then that person, your partner, is supposed to have that fullness as well. And then coming together is like icing on a cake. It's like adding to each other. And a lot of people just settle in life, they just settle. They don't want to be alone. They don't want to go through the process, or they don't know that they should not need someone to fill their cup. They should be able to fill their own cup. And so maybe they settle in their relationship. And if they settle in the relationship, you're around that person all the time. And it's a constant reminder that you settled. And it's a constant reminder that your life, you've chosen the average life because you've chosen to be around someone who makes you feel average. So why would you try to strive for a better job that makes you feel amazing when you don't feel, you've given yourself evidence that you don't feel worthy of that great job, or something that makes you, or things that make you feel amazing, things that make you excited and light up. And I've heard so many stories, people, when they just let go, and they just let go of trying to find the right relationship, and they just say that they're happy right now, that when they do that, the right relationship comes to them automatically. And again, if you've studied what is termed today as the law of attraction, that's how it works. It's like when you stop obsessing over things, you just let go and you just go with the flow of life, and it comes. And that's kind of an idea for another video, but when you begin to be happy in your own life and in your own shoes and in your own situation, and again, this is a choice, because when you choose to go down that path, knowing that it works from all the experts, from all the relationship experts and law of attraction experts and thinkers of today, knowing that that path works, if you begin to take control of your own self-development and begin to just focus on doing what you want and questioning anything that comes from society that tells you that you have to do this or you have to do this, question that, I would say. And don't become like the average, don't become like mediocre. And then you start doing that, and then your life changes. And you are able to attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the abundance and everything. And a lot of it is just a faith game. It's about how much faith do you have. So in my life, again, I've noticed that the more that I force things, the harder life gets, but the more that I just relax, go with the flow, there is no have to, there is no need to, there is no forcing. there's just following my heart like a little kid would, like I did when I was, I don't know, 4 or 5. So yeah, I hope this was of value to you guys, and still haven't thought about the title of this video, but please like, please subscribe. I'm enjoying making these, so yeah, have a good day. Don't be average. Bye. Ooh, I missed.